Hello there and welcome back to another mount guide. Today we're going to look at the Swarmite Skyhunter. This is a super easy mount to acquire in the War Within. You can get this during early access and beyond, and it requires literally no skill, just a lot of flying around and having a great time. But before we get into this super easy mount guide, I do want to shout out my Twitch, twitch.tv/MrGM. You're going to see me stream World of Warcraft, War Within, all that good stuff. I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM every single day. So this video is going to be a little bit different to what you're used to, but this should make it a lot easier to obtain this mount. So the Swarmite Skyhunter is actually the reward from the Khaz-Algar Glyph Hunter, which is the Skyriding glyphs, formerly dragon glyphs, around Khaz-Algar. Now, obviously, in the War Within, these do not award dragon riding points. However, they are used for achievements, and if you do acquire all of them around Khaz-Algar, you'll get the Swarmite Skyhunter. So what I've done is below in the description is every single coordinate you need to get every single one around Khaz-Algar. Now, if you have the add-on TomTom, you can type in /TT paste, press enter, and that'll bring up a text box. You just copy and paste all of the coordinates in there, press paste, and that should put them all on the map and you can fly around and go obtain them. Now, the rest of this video is going to be me kind of slightly explaining, but also showing where they are. I'll put a ton of chapters in this video, so you can just skip around to the point that you are stuck on. As mentioned, some of them might be under bridges or super high up or anything like that. So if you get stuck on any, you can skip around the video here. But yeah, let's dive into it. Let's jump into the first ones in the Isle of Dorn. So the first one is the Storm's Watch. This is on the western side of the Isle of Dorn by the big tree, on top of like the Rookery dungeon, if you know that. Just slightly next to Dorn or Gold, super easy to get, and just on the left-hand side of the map if you're looking at it. As you're over that way anyway, just head south over to Dhar Oztan. This is on top of like a mountain. There's a big, like, awesome looking griffin flying around there. That's also a mount, but we'll talk about that another day. That's just on the top peak of this snowy mountain peak. Heading slightly further south is Dhar Durgaz. This is south of the Freywold village. This one is just located next to a watchtower in this zone. Next up is Sunken Shield. This is on the east side of the map. This is just on a little island off the coast of the Isle of Dorn. Super easy to get. It's just sitting there on the highest peak of this tiny little island. Straight up north from there is the Cinderbrew Meadery glyph. This is literally just on the highest point of the dungeon area. So yeah, super easy to get. Just going to be on top of like a little mountain peak there. Slightly on the ground level from the Cinderbrew Meadery is the Ironwold one. This is actually under a bridge. So if you look at the coordinate on the map, you just want to see if there's a bridge there and head underneath that, and that'll be where that glyph is. Up on the north of the island is the Three Shields. This is on the highest peak of a mountain, just on the kind of northeast of the island there. Just on the highest peak, you'll definitely see it there. It's the Three Shields Skyriding glyph. The Thunderhead Peak glyph is not kind of sitting on top of a mountaintop. It is kind of down below. So if you watch the video here, you can see that it's just kind of like next to some rocks, near-ish the ground. You can't miss it though if you're just flying up above. It's just glowing in gold down below you. Next up, we have Thul Medran. This is actually on the highest peak of the Isle of Dorn. Basically just want to go as high as possible here just to get that one. The final one is the Mourning Rise glyph. This is just slightly south of the Kriegville Rest Delve. This is like a cobalt area, and it'll be on top of one of the peaks over there. So that's all the Isle of Dorn glyphs. Let's move into the Ringing Deeps. So we're going to start in the north of the zone and make our way down here. So the first one is the Stonevault Exterior. This is on a big column, just literally at the furthest point north of the map, at the highest point of the map, just on top of where the Stonevault dungeon is. The next one is Gundargaz, which is the kind of capital of the Ringing Deeps. This is just up in the air between the pipes of the zone, so there's kind of like a thing at the back there. It's just going to be up on between the pipes. You'll see it there. Next up is the Lost Mines. This one is kind of hard to find, but it is between like kind of some pillars and a gap in the rock there. Next up is the Chittering Den. This is on the east side of the map. This is actually really in a crevice, so if you look at the coordinate there, just kind of go up and down here, you'll see like a little hole in the rock, and that is going to be where the Chittering Den glyph is. The next one is the Waterworks. So if you go to the delve of the Waterworks, you want to go straight up into the sky, looking south, and you'll see it just glowing there on top of the rocks on top of the delve. Heading over to the Rumbling Waste, you'll see on the map there's like a pillar. You want to head for that pillar with like kind of red crystals all over it. Just to the side of that, you'll see the Dragon Riding glyph. The Taelloch Mine's dragon glyph is a little harder to see. This is on top of like the building, so they have like big rafters up the top of this mine area. So you just kind of want to follow that round, go to where the coordinate is on the map, and you'll see it kind of on top of one of these things. It's super, super high up, so make sure you're going as high as you possibly can. The Living Grotto one is in the area that leads you down to Azj-Kahet. You want to go as high up as you can here. You'll see it glowing there. Don't go too far, because obviously you'll end up in Azj-Kahet. But yeah, it's just in this kind of like blue crystally area. The last one is the Abyssal Excavation. This is in the most southern point of the zone. Just keep going south, south, south. You'll see a waterfall, some rocks, some like seaweed, and you'll see it glowing there. Make sure you're going up as high as possible here as well. And that's it for the Ringing Deeps. Let's move into Hallowfall. So for this one, we're going to start on the east of the zone coming in from the Ringing Deeps. From here, you want to head into the town Dunelle's Kindness. You're going to see the dragon glyph there on the east side of the big glowing watchtower in the middle of this little town. From there, we're going to head up and slightly southwest to the Fangs. This one's a little harder to see, but it is just up on a really high rock face. From there, we're going to head south to the Sanguine's Grasp. This is between two rocks which are hanging down. The next one is Tenir's Ascent. This is actually the side of a docked airship underneath a bridge, so it's a little harder to see that one. Our next one is Sina's Yearning. This is up high between two rocks once again that are hanging down. Our next one is Bleak Sand. This is in the most northern part of the map. It is actually kind of hard to see. It's north of the Spreading the Light event, really, really high up on its own little island up there. From there, we're going to go to Vellhan's Claim. This is actually between like the building. There's like a bridge in the building, and it's just underneath that on its little island. From there, we're going to head over to the Priory of the Sacred Flame. This is just over by one of the peaks of the Priory. And then finally, we're going to head southwest to Fortune's Fall, which is just right next to Meridar. It's just on a shipwreck, which is down by the water. And that's all the Hallowfall ones. Let's move into the final zone of Azj-Kahet. So for Azj-Kahet, we're going to start on the western part of the zone coming in from Hallowfall. So the first one here is by some inconspicuous routes, which definitely won't be important later on in the game. This is really up high here in those routes called the Ruptured Lake. From there, we're going to head north to the Spiral Weave Delve and go as high up as we possibly can over some rocks, and you'll see the Siege Hold Skyriding glyph. Across the way from there will be the Arathi's End. This is between two rocks in this sort of area up in the north. South from there will be the Trickling Abyss. This is going towards the entrance to the Ringing Deeps. This one is a little harder to find. It's in kind of a crevice around this area. Again, with a lot of these Skyriding glyphs, just head super high up and you'll eventually just see it glowing there. South from there, we'll have the Untamed Valley. This is just up in the top part of the rocks in this area. To the east from that, we'll have the Silken Ward. This is actually underneath one of those floating buildings, just in kind of a spider web area. The Eye of Ansarect is just west from there, and this is in the middle of a watchtower in that location. Now we're going to head southeast, south of the Niffin area. This is going to be Rah-Ush. This is up in some like spider-looking termite mounds that are hanging upside down. Just be between that and a rock face in this area. From here, we're going to head west to the Maddening Deep. This is underneath a spider web bridge. And even further south from that, we're going to head to the Deep Walker Pass. This is underneath another hanging building with spider webs all over it. And then from there, we're going to head slightly north to Zekthir's Lair. This is the old Sacrificial Pit. This is going to be super high up in this area. And that's it. That is all of the Skyriding glyphs of Khaz Algar. Let me know down below if I missed any nuance on any of these. Again, it's going to be all chaptered in the video, so you can just skip around if you like. So yeah, there you go, guys. If you like this video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I'm also on Patreon, and I'm on Twitter at MrGMYT, and I have a partner Discord channel as well. And as mentioned, I am streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, War Within Launch, all that good stuff, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM every single day. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.